Hey, what's going on? My name is Dino. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you like what you see, please like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on your post notifications. Okay. Today, we have a video by Fantastic Hip Hop, and it's titled How Drake Just Officially Lost His Not Like Us lawsuit and is. Oh, wait, what did that say? I can't read it. And is done. So, yeah, let's get into it.
Hold up, he's out of here. We gotta say it better and say it with me. Now, when it comes to Drake, Lawbreeze and Gentlograms, they got him. Well, now, if you are ready to see the end of Lawbree Graham, Supac Shakurni, and every other awful thing that this Karen has done for the last year, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, I know I already came out today and I told you I was so done because the Drake stands have proved that they are just illiterate, but we had to double back today because we just have some of the biggest hip-hop news really of the entire year, or last 2 years if we're being honest, because what we have now officially found out in a breaking report is that Drake's defamation lawsuit against UMG over Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us has been dismissed.
Whoa.
And listen, I know everybody's excited about this, so be sure to leave.
Okay, well, man, that's too bad. You know, I don't know. Say that's too bad. I mean, that was kind of a whack move to be, giving people lawsuits and everything. But I thought that, I thought that Drake might got something from that. But who knew? I guess he didn't because he lost. But it is what it is.
A like, because genuinely this is great news for everybody unless you're a cupcake Karen law loving stan.
And again, I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep on saying it until I get it. Well, I'm not gonna keep on saying it. Scratch that. This is my last time saying it. Yes, the frame rate is not the best, but the audio is good, and I'm getting an Ethernet cable, so it'll flow better. But give me time. I don't have the best internet, but it will be fixed momentarily. Thank you.
So now the reason why this lawsuit was dismissed and it got sent to the Cosmics right where Lawbree has been sitting. Well, we're just going to read the entire statement because it's this big, and it comes from none other than Judge Vargas, who the OVO standum has just been banking on to save Cupcake's career. Well, this is why you don't bring rap beefs and the loss you took to court. As now the statement that was issued follows. This case...
Man, Drake just can't catch a break, man. He just can't catch a break, And it's kind of sad, too. It's like, especially when you start, you listen to Drake. Everyone, most people from, 15 years, last 15 years, are either listened to Drake throughout their life or literally grew up listening to Drake. So this is an odd viewing, seeing him just take L's like these. But it is what it is. He'll bounce back. That's just how it goes.
Arises from perhaps the most infamous rap battle in the genre's history. The vitriolic war of words that erupted between superstar recording artists Aubrey Drake Graham and Kendrick Lamar Duckworth.
This guy is super shady. Fantastic hip hop guy.
Over the course of 16 days, the two artists released 8 so-called diss tracks with increasing heated rhetorics, loaded accusations, and imagery. The penultimate song of this feud, Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar, dealt the metaphorical blow. The song contains lyrics explicitly accusing Drake of being, can't say that, set to a catchy beat and propulsive bass line. Not Like Us went on to become a cultural sensation, achieving immense commercial success and critical acclaim. Definitely. Both Drake and Kendrick Lamar have recording contracts with defendant UMG Recordings. And now
if I'm being honest, I don't think Drake goes this crazy or goes to this extent of a lawsuit if Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us doesn't go as big as it does, or even if Drake were to have won the rap battle and thus the rap beef. I don't see Drake he probably might gloat and like that type of stuff. But a lawsuit, why would he do a lawsuit if he won? I think the public perception of just the song and just all that being called that, um, yeah, is what did it. But hey, that's hip hop, man. That's just how it goes sometimes.
Can't even read some of these other
Someone's gonna say something about you this, you that, and your family this and that, or I'm gonna do this, that to you, blah blah. It's all hip hop at the end of the day. This was all hip hop, and I think he just let it get to his head, man. And he didn't prep correctly. Like when you going against a Kendrick Lamar, you got to be prepared. Just is what it is. And you know, I didn't have a horse, a horse in the race, so I wasn't really caring too much if it was Drake or Kendrick. I was just happy for hip hop. I'm like, oh, this is dope. But it's odd. It just seems like Drake wasn't like you have to be prepared for your enemy. I feel like Kendrick was that for Drake. That's why he dropped when he drops. That's why he made the certain song selections of certain beats and topics that he touched on because he thought ahead because he knew who his enemy was. It was, yeah. Don't underestimate your enemy. Anyways,
sentences because, of course, they're going into the inner workings of Not Like Us. And we just can't say that here. But to close this out, and if you're a Drake stan, you're not going to want to hear this. Drake has brought this action against UMG for defamation, harassment in the second degree, and a violation of Section 349 of the New York General Business Law. And closing things out, what is said is the court concludes that the allegedly defamatory statements in Not Like Us are non-actionable opinion. The motion to dismiss is granted. And with this, Aubrey, Cupcake, Karen, Drake, get out of here. You are done, and we...
Okay, so if I'm listening correctly, pretty much the actual diss is like fair use. Though he did call Drake, the P word and all that, it's under fair use. And I guess it hasn't, um, a lawsuit wasn't needed. I guess this is something else. Let me make sure I heard it correctly. I don't want to butcher it.
The motion to dismiss is granted, and with... And closing things out, what is said is the court concludes that the allegedly defamatory statements in Not Like Us are non-actionable opinion. The motion to dismiss...
Okay, so okay. So it's not a defamation. It's just opinion. The actual song and the line that obviously he's suing over. Yeah. Which I think overall, yeah, I think that's fair. Because if Drake were to have won a lawsuit like this, a lawsuit of this magnitude against UMG, that means you have to go decades and decades back, back catalog of other genres and other artists who, well, not probably not other genres, but other artists within hip hop who dissed each other and said probably not way worse, because it's not really worse than being called, uh, that PDF. Ain't nothing worse than being called that, right? But when you got like Nas and Jay going against each other, and Nas saying with your, talking about Jay, your D second lips and all that, and Jay going against 50 saying I'm about $1. What's 50 cents? Well, that's not a big line, but it's just so many. You know what I mean? It's um Pusha T and Drake. When Pusha T said something about 40 and his illness that he's suffering with, that was crazy lines, messed up, but it's hip hop, man. I like battle rap. I don't say I come from battle rap, but I grew up watching battle rap, and I just love the culture and just the authenticity of it, and because this is just raw hip hop, and yeah. So yeah, so I'm not too disappointed in this decision because I'm feel like it would have been more harmful than good in general. Might maybe good for Drake, but it would have been more harmful moving forward because other artists might do the same thing. Um, and that would just trash hip hop overall. But yeah.
is granted. And with this, Aubrey, Cupcake, Karen, Drake, get out of here. You are done. And we are finally almost past one of the worst things that we have ever seen in the history of hip hop. And what I would ask Drake right now, and what I want to put out there, is just this question to all of you who have severed yourselves from hip hop, have ruined your name in the culture, and who have absolutely mocked their own legacies. Was it all worth it? Because clearly, as not even the court is telling you that you are anywhere near.
Yeah, well, hey, this guy, this fantastic hip hop guy, yeah, he's keeping it 100. I will give him that though. You know, he really going in on it, but he keeping it 100, man, because it's like, bro, like the way that people were like Drake was at a point not long ago. It's crazy. It's kind of insane. You think about it now. Drake was on that real life Michael Jackson trajectory. Like, I'm not saying that he sings better than Mike or he's, like that, but as far as just like that, yeah, that brand icon symbol, like how just certain people just have, like a Michael Jackson. Uh Drake was that. Drake had that. Drake for a long time, you know. This could just be a little down period, it's like a crescendo, goes up and down, but still, as goes forward in a way. Um, I don't know. I don't know. You know, the things he's doing does seem to alter his legacy as far as how we view him. Like Drake was more of a. Oh, sorry. Let me. I'm not. I'm really going in on this one. Drake was really an artist that, for better or worse, was the main guy as far as consistency, as far as, you know, the whole overall, his overall was a 99 essentially, He ranked out on each scale as far as, artistry, bodies of work, hits, awards, um, other artists putting on and things like that, and just being in the game and being consistent and being versatile, and that's what people liked. And just the mystique of Drake. Drake had a mystique that, you know, was kind of getting chipped at. Like the first time we saw the chink in the armor, it's like anytime he gets in a beef, it's like another chink falls off. That's what it seems like. Like when Meek Mill and Drake started beefing, Drake was still rising. He was still rising. I don't know. I don't remember if this was before views or after views, but Drake was still on his like I'm shooting up. It wasn't like us. It wasn't like he wasn't at the top. Well, he just shot up. He shot to the top, like on every metric at that point in like 2015. He goes against Meek Mill. Meek Mill, being from a different era, decides to expose Drake that he don't write his lyrics. Then we all get to finding out that at that time and today, no one really cares about that, which was surprising. But nonetheless, Drake did his two tracks, Meek did his track at the time, and if it didn't do well, and back to back went crazy. So, but it was a little chink in the armor because now we can't. It was a tiny chink because until then Drake was perfect in the public eye, in hip hop's eyes, he was perfect, and he battles Meek, he wins, but that chink, that little was you don't write your raps, or at least not all of them, right? So that was a little chink in the armor right there. The next chink in the armor is Pusha T when he's rapping, battle rapping, not battle rapping, excuse me, just dissing with the Duffy or freestyle or Duppy, whatever it was called. I don't remember what it was called. Duppy or Duffy, something like that. Good freestyle, good verse. I think lyrically, I like Drake's delivery and the beat more so. But when Pusha T dropped the story out of Don, and then just dropped that bombshell that, oh, you got a kid that you hiding, and that you really, and now you really do have a kid, and we finding out through your rap op, then it looks like your rap op was telling the truth. So then he loses that beef, and then it's like, boom, another chink in the armor, and it's a pretty big chink in the armor, big enough to where, because that was 2018 that happened, right? And then it seemed like 2019 and leading into 2019 is when he does the, I believe, the hip hop, rap caviar, or one of them. I think it was Rap Caviar. He did the interview with, and then he had to explain himself, because that was a big blow to the image of Drake. He had to explain himself. He had to talk about the Jay Prince mob ties tie-in. He had to bring up 40 and why he thought it was ill of Pusha T to rap about his friend's illness. It was a bunch of things. And the final nail in the coffin was seemingly the final nail in the coffin is Kendrick Lamar is Not Like Us. Well, shit, no. The final nail in the coffin seems like this lawsuit. So, yeah, I hope it was worth it, because it seemed like he just did all this for nothing. All right, we are back to the video.
Right, and they have just dismissed this thing because they don't even think that Drake's claims can stand any further and they are legitimate enough to go anymore. This is genuinely insane, and I mean hip-hop history in every single way that you want to talk about it, decipher it, and process it. And now, with the very words in this statement, because the court concludes that the allegedly defamatory statements in Not Like Us are non-actionable opinion, the motion to dismiss is granted. Put this right there in the Hall of Fame of all of the lines from Kendrick Lamar and Pusha T that absolutely ruined Drake in these rap beefs. Because honestly, for Cupcake, this is the worst, and I mean the very worst thing that he could have ever possibly heard. Because if we really want to just be real with everything and the entire reality of this situation and break everything down and now what all of this means, well, for the most ridiculous thing that I think all of us have ever seen as rap fans, as literally a rapper got so sad and so embarrassed from their loss that they decided to take this thing to court.
Man.
Now for Drake, if this wasn't the greatest loss of all time, not just in rap, but in anything, it has to be. Because to just understand the way that Cupcake has
I don't know about
the whole time and see how he lost his entire credibility in hip-hop for this, and now he's also being laughed out of the boardrooms, and well, he is losing a ton of business for this, not just for the cost that he had to put into this lawsuit and then also cover UMGs, because that was said in the entire back and forth they were having for almost a year at this point, but in terms of what this is going to mean for Drake going forward, because again, let's remember, while Kendrick won the beef and he definitely became the #1 rapper in the industry, it was still Drake, and UMG was still going to have him right there in that silver medal spot for their portfolio and what they were doing with the hip-hop genre as a whole, and Drake really could have been fine. He could have taken that silver medal, he could have made his garbage music, he could have done his numbers, and he could have just moved on, but no. Drake really banked every single thing that his career was lying on with this lawsuit, and now it's all for absolutely nothing. And really, to just see that and process it, it shows why this downfall has been so catastrophic, and why, honestly, looking at all of this now, only gonna get so much worse, because there's nowhere else he has to go. He has exhausted every single option, from trying to gaslight us and convince us that he was the winner in The Heart Part 6, to then doing all of the other clown stuff he has, like lying on Kendrick's name over and over again and spreading any other narrative he could, to now with this lawsuit after crying to the courts to try and say that there was something wrong with this and that this wasn't allowed, which really for Drake, this was of course to just get back at Kendrick in the most spiteful and disgusting way. This guy's really done, and I'm very interested to see what is going to happen with Drake and UMG's relationship from here, because we know things have already been bad, and Drake has been dissing both Lucian Grange and his son Elliot, and the entire music industry
That's
has
gonna
really
be awkward.
been over him. And you know that relationship just can't be well. And listen, I mean, UMG still clearly does have control and
it might
ownership
be.
of a lot of Drake stuff.
It might
so
be
he's really
good.
not even in a hand.
What is this? It might be good. If anything, it'll be strictly business. I don't know about. I don't know these people to know if they have any real personal ties like that. You know, if they come over for barbecues or whatnot. But definitely after this, it's strictly business, because they'd be foolish. They're not gonna. UMG's not gonna let Drake out their contract, or they're gonna do something with. They're gonna do something to extend a contract or whatever, or they might give him more money. Who knows? But yeah. They're gonna keep Drake, so it's gonna be a working relationship
where he has any sort of leverage despite the fact that they don't even like him. And really with that, if you were expecting Drake to drop any music or drop Iceman anytime soon, I think that this just put every single thing that he has had on halt. Because to be honest, with the label, they are your bosses. And if they don't want you to drop, you're not going to have the leverage to do anything. And as you have lost the respect and support of hip hop culture, the interest of fans, and now you have lost the boardrooms as well. Genuinely, I don't know where Drake is going to go from here, and I'm very interested to see how he's going to react, and I'm sure he is the cupcake Karen at the end of the day. There will be some...
Dang. So okay, I'm gonna just leave that there. Sheesh. Well, sorry to hear that. That's unfortunate. But Drake, man, I hope it was worth it, man. You know, I could care. I'm not a Kendrick stan. Love Kendrick though. Not a Drake stan. Love Drake. Yeah, he just on some BS. Been on some BS. You know what I mean? Like, it's just because as soon as the lawsuit happened, everyone was just like, "No, bro, why'd you do that?" And and he still went forward with it, and it didn't pay out, evidently. So yeah, man. Well, hey, listen, man. If y'all like this video and want to see more videos like this, please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the post notifications. And I will be back to doing more of these videos, man. Y'all have a good one. Peace.